Good morning, everyone. This is MightyStream. Today is June the 11th. I am brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our H.O.O.D Recovery Services. I'm going to do your Just for Today in a meditation for today's date. If you need to reach me, reach out to me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Let's get right into it. I'm meeting some fellow students today to do a group study, so I got a full plate today. Let's go ahead and look at the June 11th reading, minus the year there because they don't change, but let's go ahead and look at Living Clean, page 169. As we recover, we gain a new look on being clean. Life can become a new adventure for us. And that is taken from the basic text, page 91. The using life is not a clean one. No one knows this better than we do. Some of us lived in physical squalor, caring neither for our surroundings nor ourselves. Worse, though, than any external filth was the way most of us felt inside. The things we did to get our drugs, the way we treated other people, and the way we treated ourselves had us feeling dirty. Many of us recall waking to many morning, just wishing that for us, we could feel clean about ourselves and our lives. So I want to reread that. I just feel grammatically that's wrong. Many of us recall waking to many of mornings, just wishing that for once we could feel clean about ourselves and our lives. Today, we have a chance to feel clean by living clean. For us addicts, living clean starts with not using. After all, that's our primary use for the word clean in Narcotics Anonymous. But as we stay clean and work the 12 steps, we discover another kind of clean. It's the clean that comes from admitting the truth about our addiction rather than hiding out or denying our disease. I like that. It's the freshness that comes from owning up to our wrongs and making amends for them. It's the vitality that comes from the new set of values we develop as we seek a higher power's will for us. When we practice the principles of our program in all our affairs, we have no reason to feel dirty about our lives or our lifestyles. We're living clean and grateful to be doing so at last. Clean living used to be just for the squares. Today, living clean is the only way we'd have it. Just for today, I feel clean because I'm living clean. That's the way I want to keep it. Wow. I like that reading. I like that reading because I believe that this ideal of discarding the word clean because it has a direct correlation to Narcotics Anonymous, admittance that a person uses drugs. For some people, alcohol is not a drug to them, but to people in Narcotics Anonymous, alcohol is a drug. And so I think sometimes that separation happens when people say, I'm dual addicted, I'm cross addicted, I'm clean and sober. And that's why we ask that when you come to our meetings that you just use the terminology clean. Because now we're not trying to pinpoint which mind mood altering substance you use. We're just trying to pinpoint the fact that you can be free from using anything. The opposite, the polar opposite of clean is dirty, right? That's the antonym for clean, is dirty. And so when we talk about being clean, and wanting to be clean, or, just being clean in general, then there is a point of reference that we can compare being dirty to being clean. And being dirty was not just, it wasn't rolling in the mud for sure, right? For some people, it might have been uh, living like a squalor, not having running water, not having an opportunity to take care of your basic needs in a private space. Um, some people were tent dwellers. And some people are clean and they're tent dwellers by choice, but there's a whole group of people that they live outdoors because that's the only place that they can find to live with the lifestyle that they're perpetuating, right? Um, because no one's going to allow them to come into their home, leaving dirty needles all around and so forth and so on, right? So there's this separation that takes place. But once you get clean does not necessarily mean that we live clean. And that's where that terminology comes from, that we can be dressed up garbage cans, right? We can be shiny on the outside, but dirty on the inside. I just cleaned this morning. I've been up for a few hours, and I thank God for being able to get up, but I don't like the reason that I got up. I got up because I was in such excruciating pain. And I knew that I needed to prepare some of my celery juice that helps me. So I was up early just juicing, and I really, really, really am grateful for the opportunity, the beauty that being truly clean in my life brings to me. Do I run into some bumpy roads? Absolutely. But because I am clean and I have a clean lifestyle, then some of the stuff that comes to me that is directed towards me or that happens to me, I am immediately able to take account of it. I'm able to analyze it and say, okay, this I can own. This is my side of the street, but that right there, that's not anything that I invited. That's not anything that I initiated. That is not my trash, right? And I am able to look at things from a different perspective, right? And that different perspective is that if I'm living dirty, then dirty gets a right to come to my table, right? If I'm living dirty, then dirty gets a right to come to my table. Now, what's living dirty? For different people, you can be clean and living dirty, right? For different people, it means different things, but mostly it's whatever you feel icky about after you've already done it or thought about it or considered it. You feel icky, you feel weighted, you feel this feeling that now you have to manipulate in order to get the results that you want because you've already initiated something that was inappropriate. That's what dirty living is, right? For some men, dirty living is sneaking on the computer or on your phone or watching dirty reels or YouTube videos when you know your wife is not around. And women do it too, right? I was amazed. I had a person that I invited into my environment for a short period of time because I was truly believing she wanted to pursue recovery. And I was just amazed at the disgusting things that she allowed herself to watch all the time. Like, I'm not sure where that would go in a relationship, right? So we can do things that are dirty, living type things, and and we know that they're not okay. And when you engage, when a person engages in that behavior, then, and I'm not just talking about pornography, I'm just talking about dirty living. The lying, the cheating, the stealing, the tricking, the, yeah, lying, cheating, stealing, tricking, right? So when we engage ourselves in those behaviors, we are clean, but we're living dirty, right? So we're not truly surrendered. And we give dirty consequences the right to come and sit at the table with us, right? That's why a lot of times, we say that control, at the mention of controlling something, right? We are already stepping over our own boundaries. We can't control people, places, and things. We control our behavior only, right? So it's amazing to me to watch people that have had a beautiful taste of this program take their will back. And for whatever reason, they truly believe that it is not obvious that they're not physically clean anymore. Like, maybe the person that has relapsed is the last person to realize that they relapse, because everyone else that has been engaging you can tell the difference in your behaviors, your readiness or your quickness in your responses. All these things change when we put a mind and mood altering drug in our system. And so to watch people take their will back is very hard to watch, but you have absolutely no control over the other person, and you have to let them roll around in the dirt that they brought to their table if they want to live dirty. I think in this program is the one place that I have learned the art of detachment. Even as a sponsor, you have to have the art of detachment, because there's some things as a sponsor you might find yourself involved in because you really care about the person. But truly, honestly, the main purpose for me to be in somebody's life is to help them apply spiritual principles. And we don't always have to label it step one, step two, right? But spiritual principles that we get from working this program to help them figure out how to apply that in their day-to-day living. But I have also found that it's healthy to know how far I can go, what's mine and what's theirs. I bring the information, you take it and you apply it. Or you don't take it and apply it. You take it, but you might not apply it, right? So I have learned seriously to remove my emotions. Remove my emotions. I have this from the success or failure of a sponsee. I have to, because I really do invest a lot of energy in my sponsees. Now, there's one lady I remember working, such a beautiful, beautiful spirit. I remember working with her back in, I don't know, I want to say it's like 2015. It might have been a little more recent than that. I can't really remember. But I remember she just loved Jesus. She just loved Jesus. She loved church, and she spent a lot of time in church. And I think that's wonderful, right? If you have a faith that you're a part of, I believe that you need to engage that regularly. It's a stabilizer. When the fellowship isn't working, hopefully you have that to fall back on, right? Or, yeah. So I have no problem with in any individual or any faith. I have some higher powers that people might pick, like Satan, that I really am not interested in sponsoring you because we are on two separate ends, right? And I just don't want that energy, right? So there's some people that might choose not to have a higher power at all. And that can be kind of complicated just because of my understanding of my higher power, right? So, but I do know how to separate it regards to who I'm dealing with. But this particular lady, she was really into the church, the Bible. And a lot of people don't know it, but I have a bachelor's in biblical studies out of Kenya. So, you know, I don't have any issues with biblical discussions. I just prefer if I can work the program in a way that delivers the same message, I will go with that first if you're my sponsee. And then if there's a need to go to something else, then I will clearly get permission from you before we go that direction. And I will never go that direction unless I already know that you're prone to that faith, right? And she just could not bring herself. She didn't understand why she was struggling so much with the steps. She gave up double digits. She had given up double digits when she relapsed. And by the time she came into my life, I don't know, she was just struggling to get a couple months, you know, maintain that clean time. But she was really struggling with, in her mind, what she considered two forces. She considered her faith as the greater force over Narcotics Anonymous, but her faith was not keeping her clean. Understand me. I'm saying her faith was not enough for her, her religion. All right, let me break that down even further. Her religiosity, her religion did not give her enough spirituality to maintain cleanness off of drugs. Okay, that's where you have a major conflict, is when your higher power or your belief system is not enough to give you what you need so that you can walk out your recovery on a day-to-day basis. Now, if it does, then run with it. But if it does not, be wise enough to acknowledge that there's a block, there is a missing piece on this foundation that you're trying to build your life. And unless you address what the crack in the foundation is or the missing piece is, you are going to continue to have fumbles in regards to staying clean, right? I know many religious folks that need the program of recovery. They stay in the church, they or at the mosque, they say all their prayers that they need to say as a Buddhist, right? They do all these things that they are religiously interested in doing, but they cannot stop using drugs, right? So if I am going to a podiatrist for tooth pain, that podiatrist has the right to tell me, ma'am, that is not my expertise. You may want to go see that dentist over there, an orthodontist, right? You may want to go see a specialist in the dental field, right? And so some people, because they have always believed that they were supposed to get everything that they absolutely needed in the church met, have a hard time surrendering to the fact that the church has a place for drug addicts, but it's more of a ministry to them. right? It's more of an outreach to them. They have not really tried to, other than celebrate recovery, they really haven't tried to wrap their arms around the ideology of recovery. And so you go there, and because you have not addressed using the tools of a recovery 12-step program, you have not addressed the things on the inside that were making you feel dirty, that were making you feel like you needed to create a different illusion of your reality, which is that you were feeling that you were not enough, you were angry or whatever, you would pick up a substance to change that. But because you have not addressed that inner man. That's a terminology they use, right? And you have not addressed the inner man and allowed the inner man to be free, or to clean that person, that inward being up, then you continue to act in ways that are dirty. I never was confused. When I got here, I had a really strong belief about my higher power. And I was somewhat twisted in that, because I didn't believe anybody else's higher power was better than my higher power, nor did I believe anybody's religion was better than the religion I came from. But the religion was not enough to keep me. I could not meet the standards of the religion. So when I got to Narcotics Anonymous, I was pretty well fed up with religion, but I was not willing to consider any other higher power. Narcotics Anonymous is the only place that I came to as I was, as dirty as I was, and that I was able to make the adjustments that I needed to make at my pace, so that it felt organic. It didn't feel like I was giving up everything. It felt organic to be able to make changes at the pace that I wanted to make. And I paid a price for taking my time on making changes, certain changes. But even after my collapse, I say collapse, it wasn't a relapse, my mental and emotional collapse and spiritual collapse, because of not being willing to change certain behaviors and still being physically clean, not using drugs. Because of that, I had to reboot. I had to reboot my recovery process. And when I rebooted my recovery process, I did not need to start my clean time over, because I had never used since 1993. But my recovery process had to be rebooted. That's why I tell people your clean date and your recovery date are usually two different dates. And you will find that your clean date can stay the same, but your recovery date, you will experience relapse occasionally. And you need to have a plan for how to reboot, how to resurrender your mind, will, and emotions, so that you can recover again. Because if you don't nip it in the bud, you're getting closer to changing your clean date. Does that make sense? I hope so. My name is MightyStream. I've enjoyed your company this morning. I could intellectualize this topic all day. It is something that I love to talk about. I love to talk about. However, I want to get a little bit of exercise in before I meet my cohort. So I want to say to you, have a beautiful weekend, and I will talk to you tomorrow.